down.
Oh,
Wait.
All right, there we go.
Perfect.
That's right. Block that light up. Minnesota week.
8-0, 8-0. Maybe we'll see a little snow. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about James Franklin's Tuesday news conference. Some interesting news. He expects Noah Cain and John Reed to play. He doesn't usually tip his hand. They both left the Michigan State game early with injuries. Cain's was an ankle. John Reed was an upper body injury. But he thinks they'll have them both for Minnesota, and that's got to help their chances.
Yeah, no doubt. I think he offered that insight because he already offered similar insight twice. So I don't know if he was revealing anything outside of his normal injury policy. But yeah, I mean, to have those guys in, he was not asked specifically about Trent Gordon, but based on his previous comments, we have no reason to think he won't be able to play. So to have all those guys healthy is, of course, a big deal, especially against, as we heard him say multiple times, Bob, a receivers group that is really darn talented. He called them, I think, the best group they've seen so far, and certainly among the best in the Big Ten and the Big Ten West. The question is, the one thing we haven't heard a lot of talk about is the Minnesota quarterback and whether or not, faced against a defense that's one of the best in the country, if they'll have trouble getting the ball out to those playmakers.
Tanner Morgan is the quarterback. He had a big week at Purdue. They've been really hammering teams in the Big Ten. They started the season with some close wins against non-conference opponents. They've clearly gotten better. James is concerned, Greg, about them keeping the ball against Penn State. They're exactly 50% on third down, time of possession 35 minutes a game. He says if they get up on you, they literally will start to try and milk the clock, even in the second quarter. Penn State's been very good at getting off the field lately. That's something to watch. Another thing to watch for Penn State fans is James Franklin continues to get mentioned in connection with open jobs or possible open jobs. Florida State being one that's open. There's a lot of speculation USC will come open. James was asked about that today.
Yeah, pretty standard answer from him that he likes being
here.
He doesn't see him going in. He doesn't see himself going anywhere anytime soon. And of course, everyone says that until they have a reason to go somewhere else. But yeah, he's sort of done a lot of different things when asked those questions over the last 6 years, more so, of course, in the last 3 to 4. Sometimes he's just outright dismissed it. Sometimes he said 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, or recited the opponent that week over and over again. I thought this may have been as direct as he's been about it. Doesn't seem to get emotional about it one way or the other, but is focused on the task at hand and doing what he can while he's here at Penn State, which he says will be a long time. So obviously, that's not a storyline we'll continue to talk about. And they don't want to talk about the college football playoff rankings that came out Tuesday night. So, want to know.
Yeah, Greg, you went down the rabbit hole and asked him about trying to guard against looking ahead to the college football rankings, and you played right into his hand. But he just doesn't believe in like anything other than being in the moment. And he was pretty adamant that there's no really concern about the rankings that'll be released tonight.
Yeah, right, which is what we expected him to say. I was more interested in, he says they don't do it, and they certainly do, but how they use that from a recruiting perspective and from a social media perspective and things like that, because you want people to be excited about where you are, especially if they'd be number 4 for, I believe it'd be the first time they were in the top 4 of the college football playoff, which is possible, not maybe probable, but it's possible. And you want to maximize that while also not straying from your old principle and focus of, the only thing that matters is the opponent in that week's game, or the bye weekend we learned last week. So, yeah, to me, I knew what he was going to say, but I was just curious if he'd offer any glimpse into how they balance those things, and the answer was no, not really.
One other thing, Minnesota's offensive line is huge. James mentioned their right tackle, who said is 400 pounds. We bring it up because P.J. Mustipher is going to have an expanded role with Antonio Shelton out. James said he expects both Robert Windsor and P.J. Mustipher could play as much as 15 additional reps. We'll see how that plays out. But defensive tackle, at some point they're going to have to put some players in the game that don't have a lot of experience.
Yeah, Fred Hansard being one of them. I think this is why he's so focused on time of possession this week, because when Michigan was able to get Penn State's defensive snap count up, a couple other teams this year, it's more of a problem now when you're down a starter. Now they'll put Fred Hansard in an expanded role. Judge Culpepper's been getting a lot of heat so far the last couple of weeks. So they have the bodies there, but I think there's a reason. Obviously Minnesota is a time of possession team, which becomes even more important in a week like this one.
One final thing, Donovan Johnson not on the depth chart. He's obviously been dealing with something for a while. James was asked about his status. He didn't answer the question. But the guy that he really likes, it's Marquise Wilson. I have his name right. He's a freshman. And he said he does not lack the confidence. Might be the most confident corner on the team. He's probably going to play a lot against a very big wide receiver group. I'm curious to see how Penn State's smaller corners do against Minnesota's top 3 wideouts. They're all at least 6'1", 210. It could be a very compelling matchup in the game.
No doubt. I think that when you look at Marquise Wilson, there's no question. I don't think any of these corners lack confidence,
right,
which is good, because when you're on an island, especially this week against some really good receivers, you're going to need to forget about any bad plays and just keep moving along.